This is the DooGee S40 Pro. Before we do today's video, I do just want to thank Data Crasher. Thank you, buddy. You comment on basically all of my videos and show so much love and support to me and my content, and I really do appreciate it. So this one's for you. You asked me to get this in to review and unbox, so I've got the S40 Pro in with me today. This is the 4GB of RAM and 64GB of internal storage variant in orange. So I'm really excited to unbox this today, have a look around it and have a first try as well. This isn't my first DooGee phone, believe it or not. I unboxed the S95 Pro a little while ago. That will be up there on the description down below. It was a really cool phone, but was priced quite high. It was around £350, £400, but came with these interchangeable modules that you could kind of clip onto the back. It was a cool concept, but the modules didn't really add that much to the phone and made it quite expensive. This one, however, is much better. This one is £120 for the starting price, and I think that's pretty good for what we're getting here. We've obviously got some pretty good specs, as we can see, but we'll talk a little bit more about those as we get on with this video. Hello everybody, my name is Robert, and this is Review Clue. But of course, if this is the first time that you're seeing my face on your screen, then one, lucky you, and two, go down there, hit that subscribe button, smash that bell notification icon so you get notified every time I upload. While you're down there as well, let me know in the comment section what you want me to unbox and review. This channel is as much led by you guys as it is by me. If you want to see something, I will do my best to get it in and reviewed and unboxed for you guys. But without further ado, let's get right into the unboxing of today's product, this DooGee S40 Pro. Let's go. Okay, so here we are with the box, and it's surprisingly quite a big box. It notes on the bottom here, the rock solid Explorer. As we look around the phone, it's pretty underscript. Nothing really interesting about the box other than the DooGee logo, and of course it telling us that this is the 4GB of RAM and 64GB of storage variant. Let's go ahead and lift up the box here. I actually quite like the colour of the box. It's different from seeing all of the black boxes that we see everywhere else these days. So front and centre, we obviously get the phone itself in a little plastic bag, but we'll drop it off to the side while we take a look at the rest of the phone first. Nice little bit of foam to keep it all in place, drop that off to the side. We have a little box that I suspect will contain instructions, so let's take a look. We've obviously got the SIM ejector tool, and just some paperwork as well, a limited warranty card and a user manual as well. Nice and actually pretty compact user manual compared to some. So go ahead and just drop that off to the side here. And we also have the cable, which unfortunately is a micro USB, no USB-C here, which is, I mean, a shame, but for £120, I don't suppose you would notice it too much. And we, of course, do have a little charger as well. This is just the UK adapter. That's pretty much all we get in the box. There isn't a ton to this, which is quite nice. So no case, unfortunately. But with this being a rugged phone, you really probably wouldn't miss it. So let's go ahead and just take the bag off here and drop the box off to the side, bring the phone into shot, and we will have a talk about its specs. Along the front here, we are seeing that 5.45-inch IPS display with a resolution of 720 by 1440p. So not full 1080p, but for this kind of phone, you probably wouldn't miss it. This is built to be a more rugged phone and built for any kind of environment you throw at it. We have a pretty big 4,650 mAh battery in here as well, which means that it will go for a few days. Of course, being a rugged phone, this is IP69K waterproof, dustproof, life-proof. You can pretty much throw this thing and take it anywhere you go, and you're not going to be able to break it in theory. So we've obviously got, looking around, these nice little rubberized edges to help it shock absorb some of those harder drops. We've obviously got these metal rails along the side as well, and in general, the phone looks pretty good. I don't think there's anything really too special about it, but there's nothing too harmful either. I do quite like these orange accents around the outside. It gives it a little bit of a colour pop, which is different. We don't normally see that with these kinds of phones. So along this side, we're seeing that power button there with a nice little red accent. I'm going to guess under here we have a spot for the micro SD card and SIM card. If I can pull that out, or do I have to pop it? So along the back as well, we have those two cameras. There is a 13 megapixel main shooter and a 2 megapixel shooter as well along the bottom here with that flash. But let's go ahead and power it on using the power button along this side with the volume rocker as well. So powering it on, we're seeing a little screen protector here. So let's go ahead and just give that a peel there. Very nice. And just wait for it all to start up. To add to that ruggedness, the screen is Gorilla Glass 4 as well, so this really is a phone that you could potentially take anywhere with you. But let's go ahead and walk through the normal setup here. This is just a very stock Android setup, but we'll go ahead and jump back to this when we're into the OS itself. One thing to certainly note about this screen is there's no notch in sight. And that's because we've got these quite thick bezels going around the top and the bottom of the phone, giving it a rather dated but also quite rugged look at the same time. I could either take it or leave it, and I guess it's up to personal preference whether this is something that you like or not. This is packing the MediaTek Helios A25 processor, and that is an octa-core processor. We also have full 4G support, as well as a pretty standard GPU that comes with most MediaTek devices. For now, I'm not going to bother copying across data and just log into my Google account as I normally would. We've obviously got NFC and all of the other bells and whistles here, so for this rugged phone, you're really not missing out on a lot of features. But let's go ahead and log in with my Google account. Okay, so just holding this phone, I can tell you right away that it is pretty thick, but that is because they've got this ruggedness style going on. And I don't particularly hate it. I find some phones are getting a little bit too thin these days, and they're rather uncomfortable to hold. However, this one I feel is pretty comfortable to hold. I can have a solid grip on it, and it doesn't feel too... I've just... Oh dear, how did I do that? Okay, I appear to have pressed the button on the side here, the left one, and it's the custom key. But I now can't get back to the normal setup. I'm literally stuck. Enabling custom keys. I don't... Genuinely, I'm actually stuck. I can't get through the rest of the setup right now. This is very strange. I suppose we'll power cycle the device and see if we can do it that way. Let's just restart. While we're here, let's take a look on the back here as well. We also have that fingerprint reader. Now, if you know me at all, you'll know that I like my fingerprint readers on the back of my phone because it's nice and easy and it's naturally where my finger would sit anyway. So when I'm pressing that, it's naturally where my finger sits. Let's just wait for it to load back up and hope that we can get through the rest of the setup and I don't accidentally press any other buttons that lock me out of my setup. Okay, here we go. We're back into the normal setup. I'm not going to touch it too much, just in case I do end up hitting that side button again. But I suppose it is nice to see a custom button here, which could work quite well as a shutter button if we decide to use it like such. But this can probably be set to basically any function we desire. We're at the moment checking for updates, but let's jump back to this when it's all finished up. Okay, so it's asking me to set a screen lock password. It didn't give me a choice of setting any other kind of screen lock, so that's strange. Let's go with just 1, 2, 3, 4 for now. I'll obviously try to set a more required pin or a more safe pin after the fact, but it's also asking us to log in with that fingerprint. Really strange that it's doing this. We normally get asked whether we want to set this kind of thing up, but it's not doing so here. So I'm just going to keep pressing it and hope that I can get a good fingerprint out of it nice and quick. And we'll also get to see just how quick it is to set up one of those, to unlock the phone using that fingerprint. Looking on the bottom here, I'm guessing this is where our charging port's going to be. Let's see if I can pull it out. Yep, so there's our charging port there. Quite heavily indented. I feel like many chargers might be too thick to actually fit in there, so you might have to use the charger that is provided. And I've also seen one up the top here, which I guess must be... oh, blimey, they're quite tough to get out. That is a 3.5mm jack, but I'm just going to that is really, really deep in there. That's going to be really hard to get any kind of headphone in. I'll give it a try in a bit, but I feel like it might be too deep. It's asking me to re-enter my PIN, so we're going to go ahead and do that. Unlock with a fingerprint. Oh dear, it's asking me to do a fingerprint again. Maybe I must have pressed something to stop it. Okay, so actually what it's asking me to do is a second fingerprint. I probably didn't read the instructions while I was doing this, which didn't help my cause. So let's just keep going with it and get a second fingerprint registered as well. There we go. So we're just going to click next. Obviously Google Assistant pops up and is going to try and help us. Nice strong vibrations from this phone. So the haptics are really nice. Strong but not too overpowering. I found that some phones, in particular while I was reviewing the S21 Ultra, that haptic system was insane. Like, that would vibrate the whole room, which was interesting. Voice match is already set up, which is always nice. So, don't really need to change anything else, so I'm just going to say no thanks. It's going to add the finishing touches and drop us right into the OS. I prefer gestures. Wireless updates. We will accept all of the wireless updates that they want to send us if I can. There we go. What a lovely little noise there, thank you. It's telling me that it's setting itself up. So here we are on the home screen. Let's take a quick look around. This screen isn't bad, actually. We can see the viewing angles are actually very, very good, which I'm surprised by. I don't know why I am. I think after reviewing the other Samsung, I was worried that many phones would have this kind of awful kind of bleed as you look from a device from different angles, but not so here. So we've obviously got all the Google apps, but as we swipe along to the side here, we have some others as well, including music, camera, settings, game center, emergency alerts, and the tool bag. So let's jump into the tool bag because that sounds pretty interesting. I'm going to allow it access. So we've got things like a compass, a protractor, picture hanging, sound meters, or warning. I don't know what... I almost don't want to press warning, but I'm going to. Okay, so it looks like it can do three things. It can flash. It can flash the flashlight, very nice. It can flash the screen. And I'm guessing it's going to make a very, very loud noise. Very strange. So we have some apps that are very specific to DooGee phones, as we can see here. It's also saying that we can pull from the edges for Google Assistant. But overall, the skin is pretty nice. There's nothing too over the top about it. Some of the icons maybe look a little utilitarian for me. I prefer a much more elegant design, but I can take it or leave it. So let's take a look at those cameras real quick. Let's take a picture of the box here. Okay, so straight away, I'm not massively impressed by this camera system. But I don't think that's the market for this phone. The images themselves, let's have a quick zoom in here, don't look terrible. They have a good amount of detail, but quite blurry while taking the photo. I don't know if we can see it here. As we move along, it's quite slow. The viewfinder is actually very slow, but the pictures themselves look pretty good. Let's grab a selfie here with beauty mode. That is that's actually kind of terrifying. They somehow have managed to make my eyes bigger, my skin smoother, and just in general, that's a little bit scary. I don't like that. Let's try and turn off beauty mode all the way and take another one. That's better. I mean, there's still some... There still seems to be some kind of beauty going on here, which I'm certainly not a fan of. But let's, of course, jump into YouTube here, have a look at that video quality, and also have a look at that audio as well. So the speakers are actually on the back of this phone, here and here, which is unusual. You normally have them along the bottom, so I don't know how that's going to affect the phone when it's sat on a table. This is very slow at the moment in general. I guess that it's doing things in the background for setup, and I hope it does speed up. Otherwise, this is not a good experience, unfortunately. Let's take a look at this video. I think the S21 Ultra gets a lot of things right and is shaping up to be more than just a phone. Hello, everybody. My name is Robert, and this is Review Clue. Okay, so straight away, I can't get rid of this icon. I don't know whether that's a YouTube thing or not. But audio is almost unusable. Almost. It's tinny, it's loud to the point of hurting my ears, and in general, really not very good. And as I suspected, holding it up like this sounds better than putting it down on a table, because you've got bottom firing speakers. It's firing into a table, which is a real shame. So unlocking again, not very fast, and the whole experience of this phone feels very sluggish. But maybe that's just my first impressions, and that's where I'm going to stop this video for today, guys. This is my first impression of the DooGee S40 Pro, and quite honestly, I can see it being a rugged device, but it is slow, the speakers are awful, the screen's not bad, and the cameras are subpar at best. Anyway, guys, if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to go down there, hit the subscribe button, smash that bell notification icon so you get notified every time I upload, and I'm going to obviously have the full review for this phone coming out very soon. Anyway, guys, my name's been Robert, this has been Review Clue, and I will catch you in the next one. Adios.